What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with what's next for Ian Garry after UFC win. Ian Garry kinda put on a master class in 3 of the 5 rounds against Carlos Prates at UFC Kansas City and received the unanimous decision win. So what's next for the Irish fighter? That's a good question. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Early on, Garry bested Prates in many of the exchanges by sticking behind his jab and mixing in kicks and takedown attempts. At a couple of junctures, Garry appeared to stun Prates with some thumping punches, but the Brazilian welterweight kept coming, and in round 5, it looked like Prates might pull off the comeback win. Ultimately, however, it was too little too late, and his 11-fight winning streak came to an end. With the win, Garry moved his overall record to 16-1, and since he's only lost to Shavkat Rakhmonov, he remains firmly entrenched in the title shot mix. Leading up to the card, Garry reported that he already has a ticket booked to attend UFC 315, which will see welterweight champion Belal Muhammad face Jack Della Maddalena. Garry intends to be ready in case his services are required, and you would think that the UFC will definitely consider that if the need arises. It's worth noting that there appeared to be some swelling on the forearm of Garry, so if it's something serious, the outspoken fighter could be sent to the sidelines. But even if that turns out to be the case, nothing can change the fact that Garry remains one of the welterweight division's elite. Ian Garry and Carlos Prates backstage footage. Ian Garry posted backstage footage between him and Carlos Prates. Here's the clip.
Você é sinistro. Você tem meu coração muito grande. Não, mano,
But Jonah, I feel you're gonna sit you out there again, you know, maybe for the title.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Puta que pariu, mano. Reforço de mão. Eu falo com você, quero ajuda, vai em cima. Eu volto ao Brasil, você precisa de minha ajuda, vamos lá. Você é brasileiro e eu quero ver tudo brasileiro, vai em cima.
Ian Garry then reacted to the fight.
What's up, everyone? We just did it again. 25 days notice against one of the most dangerous guys in the division. And guess what? Next week, I'm flying to Canada. I fly to Canada on the backup for that world title fight. And if anybody slips up, you best believe there's a world title coming back home to Dublin, Ireland and Brazil, baby. I love you. Thank you for your love, your support. Let's do this one more time. I'm one of the baddest men in the world, and there ain't no one stopping me reaching my dreams. Love you all. Have a great night. I am.
Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley react to fight news. Recently, Dana White announced that Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley are gonna throw hands on June 14th, and both welterweights have reacted to the news. White initially announced that Buckley and a former welterweight champ are gonna battle in the headliner of the promotion's next card in Atlanta via livestream.
June 14th, UFC is coming to the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The main event is gonna be Kamaru Usman and Buckley. Obviously, Usman, ranked number 4, former welterweight champion, one of the best to ever do it. He's returning to face the most explosive guy in the division. Buckley's coming off a TKO win over Colby Covington. He's on a 6-fight win streak, with 4 of those coming by finish, and is looking to be the number 1 contender. Both of these guys wanted this fight, so I cannot imagine that one isn't a bad fight.
Not surprisingly, it wasn't long before Usman weighed in on the booking via the Pound for Pound show alongside Henry Cejudo.
You know how they be, Henry. They said I was, gonna do this, do that, do this, do that. But guess what, Henry? I'm tired of all the talking. I had to take a little bit of sabbatical, like I've said, but now I'm back from that sabbatical. That's right, Henry. You heard it right. Your boy is back. I'm ready to spin. You know what they say, if you want to win, put booby in. So I'm ready, Henry. I'm back in there June 14th live from Atlanta. It's a great fight. He's very aggressive, he's strong, he's athletic, and I like that. Every now and again, that warrior spirit, you need to exercise it. That's where we come from, Henry. I'm one of those guys who I put in so much time and effort. You got to feel a fight a little bit. You want to get in there and feel like you got into a fight. I've been in a couple where I wasn't touched, and I got out of there in the back, still adrenaline going, feeling like I need to burn off some energy. But, hopefully, if he does his homework, everything comes together. It's going to be an incredible fight.
And for Buckley's reaction, the powerful fighter posted a head-turning trailer, which features clips of his wins over the likes of Vicente Luque, Stephen Thompson. Now, there's no doubt that on paper, there's a lot to love with this fight, and as White noted, there's plenty riding on it as well. If Buckley wins, he'll be right there in terms of the title shot mix. And for Usman, the 37-year-old is looking to demonstrate that his championship days are not over just yet. Usman has not fought since October 2023, where he lost via majority decision to Khamzat Chimaev. Who are you picking to win the Usman-Buckley scrap? Max Holloway reacts to Dustin Poirier fight. The MMA world is still buzzing over the news that Dustin Poirier is going to battle Max Holloway in what will be the Diamond's final bout. Well, Holloway also reacted to the announcement. Recently, Poirier announced via the Pat McAfee show that he and Holloway are going to run it back for the third time in the headliner of UFC 318. Holloway's BMF belt will also be on the line on the July 19th bout.
New Orleans, the UFC is coming back to New Orleans in July 19th. It's going to be my final fight. I'm going to lay the gloves down in Louisiana where it all started for me. The whole journey started there, and I'm just honored to have the UFC on the same page and the state of Louisiana on the same page to make all this work. I didn't know if it was going to all come together, but it did. July 19th, me and Max Holloway are going to fight 5 rounds, main event, pay-per-view for his current BMF title. And you know,
hell yeah. That's awesome.
Max is a legend. I said legends only. There's not a better guy I can think to fight in my retirement fight. I was his first fight in the UFC back in 2012, and he's going to be my last fight in the UFC. So it's an honor. He's a legend, former champion, undisputed, current BMF champion. So we're going to put on another war.
The light heavyweight and fan favorite also shared the card's fight poster, as well as this brief comment: "The Last Dance." Holloway also reacted to the news on social media. Honored to be the Diamond's last dance, July 19, 2025, New Orleans, Louisiana, Smoothie King Arena. The fight's announcement came out while Holloway is over in South Korea, training with Chan Sung Young. Holloway, who was the last man the Korean Zombie faced in his storied career, stopped Young in August of 2023. Clearly, the two are on very good terms. Due to the legendary status of both Poirier and Holloway, and because Holloway currently holds the BMF belt, it's not going to be surprising to see the fight is headlining UFC 318. While there had been talk about the possibility of Poirier and Holloway fighting for a third time, it wasn't the matchup in most people's minds. And that includes Poirier, who recently told MMA Junkie he never asked for Holloway as an opponent. I was asking for Gagey. I was asking Hunter Campbell for Gagey because we're 1-1. I wanted to close out that history. For some reason, they wanted this fight. So I said that's cool because I respect the guy from my last fight. I don't know what their thought process was for putting this together, me and Max, because I have a lot of respect for him. Poirier also reported that when word came that Ilia Topuria is moving up to lightweight, he contacted the UFC to see about the promotion's plans for El Matador. But obviously, the UFC did not move forward with Topuria versus Poirier. What do you think about the Diamond reaching out about the possibility of landing that fight? UFC fight updates. Let's take a look at some UFC fight news and updates. Dana White recently announced that Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley will throw down in the main event of UFC Atlanta. And right after, he confirmed Rose Namajunas and Miranda Maverick will battle in the co-main event.
The co-main event is going to be former two-time champ Rose Namajunas. She returns to take on the number 12 ranked Miranda Maverick, who is on a 4-fight win streak. It's obviously a big step up for Miranda. She's looking to work her way up the division, and Rose is going to be a tough way to do it.
Namajunas is looking to get back on track after she lost via unanimous decision to Erin Blanchfield back in November. The former strawweight champion had won 2 in a row prior to the loss. Maverick has been working her way into a title contention thanks to a 4-fight winning streak. In her last outing this past December, she recorded a decision win over Jamie Lynn Horth. Do you see Rose snapping Miranda's winning streak? And UFC officials have announced that Rafael Fiziev will indeed square off with Ignacio Bahamondes at the promotion's June 21st card in Baku, Azerbaijan. Since Fiziev is Azerbaijani, there's been speculation the UFC would book the highlight reel striker for this event. It's a key fight, however, as he's lost 3 straight, although 2 of the losses have come against Justin Gaethje, no shame there, and the other was due to an injury he suffered in his scrap with Mateusz Gamrot. Meanwhile, Bahamondes submitted Jalen Turner in his last outing, which took place in March. The well-rounded fighter has won 3 in a row, and it's being reported that featherweights Conor Matthews and Yadir Del Valle will fight at the UFC's Vegas card on May 17th. Matthews is coming off a stoppage loss to Jose Delgado in February and has lost 2 straight. Del Valle will be making his UFC debut after recording a decision victory over Antonio Montero on Dana White's Contender Series. And it looks like we could see Sharabuddin Magomedov back in the octagon soon. Shara Bullet recently posted a video clip of him walking in the mountains and the message, "See you soon." The Dagestani middleweight is coming off his first professional MMA loss to date as he dropped a decision loss to Michael Venom Page back in February. Who do you want to see Shara Bullet fight next? Caio Borralho fires back at the MMA Guru. Recently, the MMA Guru took aim at the Fighting Nerds team over the reactions to a Bryce Mitchell post. Since then, the team's Caio Borralho has fired back at the MMA pundit. Mitchell is coming off a one-sided submission loss to Gene Silva at UFC 314, who's a member of the Fighting Nerds. Leading up to the bout, Silva repeatedly trashed the outspoken and controversial fighter via social media and interviews. Silva also fired numerous verbal shots at Mitchell during the pre-fight presser. Well, more recently, Mitchell posted a video of him chopping wood. Some of the Fighting Nerds, including Borralho and Silva, took the opportunity to take more shots at Mitchell. In response, the MMA Guru posted this: "The Fighting Nerds waiting for an Instagram post of Bryce Mitchell's to hit the algorithm so that they can pile on and talk in the comments is some lame. Bro's chopping wood on his farm. Can a brother live?" Even McGregor was chill to Aldo after he beat him. Guru's comments didn't get past Borralho, however, as the surging middleweight responded with, "And you're here talking about us to get what? Engagement and hit the algorithm too." What do you think of Guru's initial post and the response from Borralho? Alex Pereira wrestling in Japan for Magomed rematch? It remains to be seen when and who Alex Pereira fights next, but it looks like the former light heavyweight king has been working even more on his wrestling game. Pereira is coming off a decision loss to Magomed Ankalaev in March, which ended his reign as the 205 champ. Since the fight was fairly competitive and because Poatan defended the belt 3 times, the consensus is that Ankalaev and Pereira are going to run it back. Well, more recently, the following video clip of Pereira training his wrestling while visiting Japan was shared out via social media. And speaking of Ankalaev, the new light heavyweight champ has been kicking the social media tires on a rematch with Poatan. Recently, the Dagestani fighter posted, "Alex Pereira, do you still like fighting? I have a feeling you're done." Could we see Ankalaev versus Pereira 2 get announced soon? And do you think that's the right fight for Poatan right now? And will he reclaim the belt? Sean O'Malley drops sparring partner. Here's the clip.
Hands up. Where's your jab at? Where's your jab at, Frank? Put it in your face. Spike the back. Circle. Jab in his face. Circle. Now attack. Yep. You gotta get him up. Hands up. Very tight. Keep pushing. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. You gotta pick it. Yeah. Pick that foot up. You don't pick that. Back to your jab. Back to your jab. Good right hand. Back to your jab. Back to your jab. Come on, Frankie. Come on. Back. Come on, Frankie. Defend yourself. Come on, Frankie. Come on. Defend yourself. Defend yourself. Dig deep, Frankie. Dig deep, Frankie. Defend yourself. Defend yourself. Frankie. Hands up, Frankie. Everyone's down. Get some distance, Frankie. Circle. Get some distance. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Come up. Hands up. Take it. Defend yourself. Defend yourself. Breathe through that. Breathe through that. Where's your jab at? Hands up. Hands up, Frankie. Hands up. Oh.
MMA community goes off on ESPN for Jon Jones tweet. On a recent post on social media, ESPN praised Jon Jones for having the second longest title reign in UFC history. They wrote, "Jon Jones officially has the second longest undisputed heavyweight reign in UFC history at 785 days, behind only Cain Velasquez's reign of 896 days from 2012 to 2015. Jones is one step closer to having the longest title reign in 2 different weight classes. Legendary." The MMA community wasn't happy about this, considering Jon Jones has only fought twice since 2023, being one of the least active champions in the company. Here's what the community had to say. ESPN MMA's newest admin, Dana White. "This actually a terrible flex. Jones has one title defense against the ghost of Stipe while still ducking the interim champ. Well, when you fight only once every 2 years. How is this not from a burner account? One title defense in over 2 years against a retired Stipe Miocic, 2 fights in the last 4 years. Bro is reigning. He's nesting. Wow, 25 months, he must have fought 5, maybe 6 times. What, 2 times? 2 times in over 2 years. When's his next fight? What, it's not scheduled. Jon Jones needs to retire, fight Aspinall, or give up the heavyweight title. He's becoming a joke. You either hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Has had one title defense. This is so shameless, celebrating being inactive for years at a time. Wow, so amazing. You realize how ridiculous of a post this is, right, ESPN? Pretty easy when you don't fight. Thought this was a parody account. I had to do a double take. Dana, log off the ESPN account, bro. You ain't fooling no one.
So this is a bit of an exclusive to the channel. As professional athletes, or fighters for sure, we don't like to speak about stuff that's holding us back, injuries, illnesses, all that kind of stuff. But this year, I have actually been ill more times than I've ever been ill in my life. And we're in April. So I got an illness, like a virus, before Christmas, and basically I've had it on and off since. I've had a couple of courses of antibiotics and stuff like that. It has made me look in depth medically with what's going on, because I keep picking up viruses. Usually I'll get ill like once a year, if that. It's just like a head cold or whatever, but I've been like really ill, bedbound a couple of times. I've had ringworm quite a few times and other minor skin infections and stuff like that, and these are usually things that you get when your immune system's low. And I've had sinusitis, I've had strep. This has come up in my results as well. I've had a fever plenty of times and stuff like that, and just aching body and all the rest of the flu type symptoms that I've been going on for like 4 months now. So even though I've not been active, it's probably, looking back, it's probably a pretty good job that I haven't been active, because I haven't been functioning at 100% for a while.